I guess on my hair, she look all right. And with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video I am playing with one of my favorite brands. You all know all the time I brag about a lot of brands, but I always tell you all, if Viseart come out with a matte palette, I need some of that. If Pat McGrath come out with a palette with some shimmers in it, I need some of that. And so today, Pat McGrath Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction. Finally got her, baby. Y'all know I've been on a no-buy. I've been saving my coins, and I could not afford to get her when she went to her own website. But when she came to Sephora and I had a $100 gift card, you think I wasn't gonna get her? Baby, the color story on this is beautiful. What I saw, she changed up her Blitz Astral formula. I'm like, change? The only thing you were supposed to change was the price, so honey. I had to get into this to let y'all know if it's good, because I know we all can't be affording to drop $129 on an eyeshadow palette. So we need somebody out here to let y'all know the real deal about the quality of these. Somebody who not on no PR list, somebody who not kissing brands butts or anything. They got their makeup, they got their opinion, and they just gonna keep it at that. And so that's what we offering y'all today. And I also wanted to make sure I played in some of my other Pat McGrath items, because I'm like, she way too expensive. If you can't buy no more of her new stuff, you might want to play with some of her old stuff. So that's what we're doing today, honey. So before we get into this, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you also give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more eyeshadow tutorials or tutorials from Pat McGrath. I also have, what else I got coming up? This Saturday, I should have a different video coming up. It's not going to be Pat McGrath, but it's going to be a video that's going to take a little more time to get going. So I really want to make sure I get this video up and out for y'all. I'm trying to sit down and look around like, Torrence, is there anything else you need to tell them before this video gets started? Right now, I can't think of it, and it's going to hit me as soon as I turn this camera off. But that's too bad for me, honey. I bet you I'll write it down on a note next time. But before we get into this tutorial, honey, I have to bring you all swatches because I know how helpful those are. And once again, I started leaving my shade reference for my foundations in the description bar below. So if you ever want to know anything about those, just check that out. But enough talking, honey. Let's get into these swatches. Before I showed you the palette itself, I wanted to show you all the box. I know many people, including myself, find the packaging on Pat McGrath absolutely stunning. Her Mothership palettes go above and beyond. Right there on the front, we do see that we have the name. It also says that this has a total weight of 19.5 grams. On the back, we do have the shade names and shade ingredients, and it appears that this palette has an 18-month shelf life. And just in case you wanted to see what the palette looks like standing straight up, this is what she looks like. And on the inside, we have a stunning black enamel packaging, honey. When I tell you, Pat McGrath has the best packaging in makeup for me. When it comes to her Mothership palettes, they are expensive at $129, but they are absolutely stunning. They have an enormous amount of weight to them. Metal backing, which is etched. It also has a sticker here. On the back, there is a sticker, but most of the things are etched in. It says Pat McGrath Labs, Mothership, used without caution. Shade throwing and eye ecstasy may result with prolonged use. Okay, and I'm trying my best to make sure I give you all a beautiful view of the inside of the palette. At $129, honey, I am holding on to this very tightly to make sure I don't drop it. But it appears we have 3 different finishes. We have 3 mattes, 3 metallics, and 4 of her Astral Blitz formula. This is a new Astral Blitz formula, so if you love the one from before, this may not be the same, and that's something we really want to test out. Just being honest, it appears Mother has stuck around her comfort zone with the mattes, but it does appear that everything has a slightly more cool tone than before, so I'm hoping that these colors appear much more different on the eye than previous palettes. Okay, Mrs. McGrath, look at this, honey. When I tell you, just looking at the pictures online, looking at the swatches, it's like, she looked rather basic and all those colors look exactly the same. But honey, let me tell you, when you swatch them out, look at this, honey. What I wanted to do was to make sure you could see the formulas better, was I took the first 6 over to the left and swatched those and did the 4 Blitz Astros by themselves on the end. And I did it like that so you can see the difference between the shine on her normal shades and her Blitz Astro formula. And although I ain't gonna lie, I was worried at first. Do you see the shine and the shimmer on those? The only thing that has me concerned so far is the mattes, because they did not swatch nearly as beautiful as the other shades did. If you can get a really close look, the first matte shade is called Rosewood Romantique. Came off beautiful. The second matte shade is called Extreme Nocturne. She was okay. Not quite as good as that first one, but that last one, Plum Cabaret, she got me worried. She didn't swatch quite as beautiful and she wasn't quite as smooth on the finger, but just based upon the looks of these swatches, this palette is going to be gorgeous and I can't wait to get into it. So let's go ahead and get our eyes prepped. Alright you guys, let's get things started. As with all tutorials, all tools and products used will be in the description bar below. Don't forget, I've also started putting my shade reference in the description bar, so if you want to know what foundation shades and things I use in other brands, I'm going to start leaving that there. But today it's time to get into this here. Mothership 10, honey. Look at how she shines. I still have not taken this little plastic piece off. I usually try to keep that on there, but I'm not going to lie to y'all. The box will be in the trash before y'all see this video, because whether it's good or bad, I'm going to keep the palette. I'm a collector of Pat McGrath. I have all of her Mothership palettes. What I really need to do is get a video up for all of them, because I think I've only used maybe 2 or 3 on my channel. But enough about that, honey. Let's take a look at this here. On the inside, I'm trying to see if I can catch it in the light where you can see the shade difference. It appears we only have 3 mattes, so more than likely I'm going to use all 3. It's just that's going to be the basics. I want to see what they all are like, so ain't no point even being shy about it. And because I like to blend my shades usually lightest to darkest, starting with my largest brush and working my way down to a smaller brush, we're going to start with our largest, fluffiest blending brush. And we're going to take this shade here. This is called Rosewood Romantique. We're going to use that as our transition shade. Then we're going to come down here to this shade here. This is Plum Cabaret. We're going to use that to deepen up the crease with a smaller brush. Then with the smallest brush, we're going to go into this shade here, Extreme Nocturne, and we're going to use that to deepen up our outer V and our outer crease. So let's go ahead and get into things. And starting off with the Redford 27 and Rosewood Romantique, we're going to knock off our excess, which isn't much, and there is very minimal kick up in the pan. This shade feels extremely smooth on the finger as well as the brush, so I'm expecting nothing but good things from it. But let's go ahead and see how she blends in color, honey. Gonna start low in the crease. Baby, ton of pigment, so ooh, I should have knocked my brush off a little bit harder. But because I ain't scared of the pigmentation, we're gonna buff this up and out. But I don't see me doing 2 layers of that, baby. So for this first shade, if you are gonna go in, honey, I know your brush may not look like it has a lot of pigment on it, but I say go extremely slow. Knock off as much pigment as you can, because baby, y'all see how fast that color came through and showed out on me. I underestimated Pat on this shade, I ain't gonna lie to you, but as you can see, she blends out extremely fast, extremely beautiful. I don't have any patchiness or anything going on. The one thing I did do, I'm glad I always start on this outer end because that color is a little darker there, but baby, this shade is beautiful. And once I have all the color off my brush, I like to try to raise it up as high into the crease as I can to give me a seamless blend. And she is beautiful, and yeah, honey, we're not gonna test her again and dip back into there. We're gonna go ahead and leave that just the way it is, and I'll be right back after I do this on the other side. Now that we have that shade on, it's time to go into the next shade, and I'm not gonna lie to you all. Plum Cabaret, when I did swatches, I think out of all of them, it was the one that looked the least promising of them all. And when I hear the word plum, I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna have somewhat of a purple undertone, which is already hard. But we're gonna take our smaller brush. This is the Redford number 15. And we're gonna go ahead and see what we get, honey. She does seem just slightly stiffer in the pan, but it doesn't look like it's gonna give me no issues. We got plenty of pigment going on, so you know, because of that first shade, you ain't gonna set me up again. We're gonna knock that all off, honey. Still got plenty of product. Start on the outer lower end, and we're gonna buff this up. Our main goal is to see how much depth and dimension this shade brings. Because it's like, if I already got that first shade going, did I really need this next shade in this palette? And so far, I ain't gonna lie, I am seeing more depth. Baby, she is deepening things up. We're gonna give her that. And I'm not getting absolutely no patchiness whatsoever. So that's what's really shocking. Like, okay, Pat, let's go ahead, buff that out, and let's see. This is just one layer. Yes, ma'am. That definitely did its job in that one layer. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I really thought I was gonna have to go in with 2-3 layers based on that swatch. Excuse me. But I'm looking at her like, ooh, let me see. We're gonna grab something on one side of the brush. Heck that. And see what she... Y'all see the pigmentation. We're using a blending brush as a packing brush. So this color here, Plum Cabaret, she didn't come to play either. I don't see me needing a second layer on these. Guess I'll be back, honey. This is going faster than I thought. Alright, y'all, time to get our last shade here. I got my Redford number 14, because Mother McGrath is not playing fair. These shades are blending beautifully. We're going to take our smallest brush in this shade here, Extreme Nocturne, and we're going to coat our brush with this. Ooh, baby. Now this might be where the extreme pigment was at, because baby, that kick up right there came off strong, so make sure she don't come through trying to stir things up. And we're going to start this out on the outer V. We just want to see how much deeper this color is going to take things, because truth be told, I'm looking at this like, do we really need to deepen things up? Technically, no, but because we want to see what this color look like, we got it on in. So once again, outer end, low as we can go. I only want to take this about halfway, just to see what she gonna do. Okay, oh, yeah. I can see that there, honey. She's definitely giving us more depth and dimension. I don't think this color is truly gonna give us everything we was looking for, because to me, y'all know I like a matte black, but considering this is a dark brown, this may have more people feeling comfortable with deepening things up, because a lot of people do not feel comfortable with matte blacks. And I'm just buffing this up and out. Just want the outer half to be a little darker than the inner half. And you could see that's definitely giving us more depth and dimension on this side for my outer V than you could see on this side. Let me see if you can look at them close together. You can see this side is dark on this side. Then we're going to take that, dip our tip in there one more time, and sweep this out, starting from the halfway of where we put that Plum Cabaret, and sweep back, because I want the outer V to be the absolute darkest part of my eye. And this is where I'm going to do 2 layers just to be on the safe side, to make sure that darkest color shows up and shows out. Okay, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. Alright baby, you already know. NYX glitter adhesive, gotta pull her out. The thing is, we working with the new Mothership palette, and I want to test out as many formulas as I can. I'm gonna want as many colors as I can get on this lid. And so I got to get me a lot of this glue on my head. We're gonna take our Morphe M421 brush, pick up some product, and we cutting our crease high and wide, honey, high and wide. Want to make sure I got some on here. And we're going to start from the front end. Almost had it on the wrong side. And what we want to do is try to avoid covering up our outer V, because we took all the time to put that energy into getting it going. Ain't no point in wiping it all away. And once I get close to where I put that first Plum Cabaret shade, that's where I want to stop, and then we can just diffuse it out from there. Come back down. Cut some of it off, but you know what? Plum Cabaret was just a transition shade, honey. She ain't got to be there for long. Okay, you guys, now it's time for shimmers, and I'm looking like, okay, she gave us 3 of her metallics, 4 of the Bliss Astrals. So I'm gonna try to use 2 and 2, just because this is a neutral cool tone look. We're gonna go in with this shade here. This is Bronze Devotion. We're gonna put this on the front half, and then which one we want next? For the Blitz Astral, just because you know everybody's gonna wanna know what that looks like, we're gonna go into this shade here, VR Sextasy, and we're gonna put this on the outer half of the lid. Alrighty, you guys, I have Bronze Devotion here, and I must admit, with the first few swipes, it was a little difficult to pick up, but after that, it came up extremely well. I wouldn't say that it has overspray or anything, or it's just probably a little hard pressed when you first get into it, but I ain't gonna lie. On the brush, she's looking more satin than she is metallic, so I'm hoping she give off a bunch of shine. So we're just gonna go ahead and get this on the front half and see what we got going. She's extremely smooth. And you all are seeing that color there. That color is beautiful up against my skin, honey. For this to be a neutral to cool tone color, you all know I absolutely love neutral to cool tones, even though I have a warm skin tone, simply because I believe they pop against my complexion instead of blending in with them. And that color is beautiful, but I would say she's much more of like a shimmer more than a metallic. She's shining more than a satin, but she's not giving me that over the top boom look at me from across the room. But those color contrasts against one another, that's what's gonna draw the attention. So I'll be right back after I do this on the other side, because baby, I'm trying to debate, do I want to use this with the next color, but I'll figure that out after we get the first one on. And now that we have that first shade on, we're gonna test this second shade out with my natural hair brush, just because it's my preferred method. This is VR Sextasy, and just from the promo shots, you can tell everybody was interested in seeing what she looks like. So far, she picks up real nice with a brush. I got a ton of product here, honey. We're gonna go ahead, pack her on, and see what she looks like with this color. We're gonna try to fill in that middle and blend this up closer toward the front end, just to see. Normally shades that look this flaky, I would want to go in with my finger or a silicone applicator, but I want to see if I'm being lazy or just don't feel like using other methods that day, how will this work? And we're going to blend this over. We're not going to cover that front shade, but I want to see what that transition looks like between Bronze Divinity, them layered, and then VR Sextasy by itself. And I'm hoping that that's picking up on camera, because baby, the shade that I'm seeing right here is much more blue tone than when it is right here. When they meet, it looks much more sparkly, and I think the camera is picking that up. You can see the blue peeking out a little better when it's by itself on the outer end than when they blend together right here. Okay, Mrs. McGrath, let me go ahead and get this on the other side, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, this is all that we have going on the eyes right now. What I'm gonna do is cut away, finish off the face, and when I come back, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna finish off the lower lash line. Just last week, I told them to pick a side. I bust shots, don't duck if it don't apply. Okay, you guys, I'm sitting back playing, just got off the phone with my sister. As you can see, most of the makeup is done, honey. Things are looking really, really nice, like really, really nice. And I'm not gonna say I'm shocked, because a lot of these things that I've already used before. Once again, all tools and products used in my tutorials will always be in the description bar below. But today I wanted to retry some things, also try out some things for the first time. So let's get into it. First up, my previous video, I did a first impressions of the Sephora Best Skin Ever Concealer. I'm wearing it again today, as you can see. Full coverage, flawless, beautiful look, honey. I went in with my favorite NARS Sheer Glow Foundation, did the thinnest layer I possibly could of that. One dip of this one here, under eyes, forehead, nose, chin, highlighted everything. New favorite, loving her. Wanted to also test out, once again, these Maybelline Fit Me powders because I used these before and I wasn't paying attention. When I did use them, I was on the phone. I had got some bad news, so I had to start crying and things like that. So last time, the creasing was so unreal. It was unlike anything I had ever seen in my life. But I had to remind myself, one, I had did all of that, and two, I had did that tutorial later on in the day, not usually early in the morning when I'm freshly moisturized. So I'm like, Torrence, we have to give these another try, and I can say they are beautiful on the skin. The one thing, well, the two things I can say is, one, I still truly believe they need to expand this shade range. I believe there are only 4 colors. I'm using shades 20 and 30. I believe there is a 10 and 40. But considering I'm right there in the middle, you only offer 1 shade lighter than me, 1 shade darker than me, it's like, yeah, you're gonna have to work on that. And 2, I believe that is truly a powder for those who want a matte look. That powder does not come into play. She is matte, but that's why I love her. What else do we have going on? The rest, I believe that we snuck and did was all Pat McGrath, except my mascara. That's my favorite Lancome duo that's already there. But for the lips, wanted to pull out my Pat McGrath Permagel Ultra Lip Pencil. I'm just now realizing I don't have any of my Pat McGrath lip pencils or eye pencils sitting right here. When I redid my lip area, I took all of my Pat McGrath items and put them in there. So all of my glosses, all of my lipsticks, all of my liners, except this one miniature from Pat McGrath, my absolute favorite in Bronze Temptation. I keep this mini here, but I have a full size in a drawer. But I am wearing this here. This is in the shade Manhattan. For the lip liner, I wanted something really, really dark so I can blend that out because I wanted to top her off with a gloss. I'm like, we did, I think, either a lipstick or a full lip liner last time. And I'm like, no, I want something shiny and shimmery. This is the Pat McGrath Lust Gloss in the shade Pale Fire Nectar. I think I've worn this before, but usually I wear her with a lighter lip liner as well as a much brighter, bolder lip. But I'm like, I want something really nice, something really shimmery. And because this has a much more mauvey pinky tone to it, I wanted something much more pink tone for this. But I wanted something that would stand out on its own. And baby, you can't tell me nothing about my lips, honey. They my favorite part of the body. Pat McGrath, when I think of her Lust Gloss formula, it just gets me excited. Never had a bad color, but the ones with the sparkles in it are also my absolute favorites. On the face, honey, never used this. I bought both of these palettes. This is the Divine Blush, it's called the Divine Blush and Glow Trio. I believe this was last holiday. She did 2 of them. This palette is in Amber Allure, which is the much more pink toned one. Got her just to complete the collection because that one with the yellow toned highlighter is the one that will suit my complexion best. But I'm like, Torrence, this is a cool tone look. You want something that's gonna complement that. So, normally, bold, bright pink blushes are exactly what I go for. But I'm like, Torrence, you need something much more neutral, something that will not compete with the eyes. You already did this lip, you don't need much. Went in with this middle shade here, Paradise Venus. I'm not 100% sure or not, but I think this is the shade that Doja Cat's makeup artists use all the time. So I'm gonna have to double check on that. But I'm glad I have it in this palette because I don't have any of her blush singles. I can't afford them. Kelsey, Brianna, J been telling us about how beautiful they are, and I'm here to tell you, they are beautiful, honey. This color is so nice and beautiful and soft and neutral. Like, you could tell there's a blush color there, but she's not screaming at you that, boom, I'm wearing blush. Also for this highlighter, this is in the shade Venus Nectar. It is a pink tone highlighter. Because we're wearing neutral to cool tones, I did not want to wear something golden and yellow like that other palette has. And there's a pretty good chance I might not wear this again, so I got her on there. And I must admit, when I first put her on, she had me a little worried because I'm like, wait. But she buffs and blends out beautifully. At first, it looks like there may be some micro sparkles in there, but as you can see here, honey, let me see if I can get a little closer. It is not reflecting on the skin. You don't see any particles or anything, but you do see that light glow there. And I truly believe if this was a yellow tone highlighter, that would shine that much more better. But because we wanted something nice and soft, I think she is stunning. If my budget was where I wanted it to be, I would go pick that up as a single, but I'm like, Torrence, you only used it once and you got it in this palette. You are never gonna hit pan on a whole palette, so you don't need to buy that single, and I need y'all to hold me to that. But I'm looking around, I'm like, Torrence, is there anything else? Right now, I don't think so. If I forgot anything, we have to check that description bar, but I'm sitting here looking like, what else can we do? Lower lash line, highlight our inner corner and our brows. So let's go into it, honey. You already know, since there are only 3 matte shades and I don't want this look to be too dark, we're just gonna take a pencil brush. We're gonna take 2 pencil brushes. We're gonna take the largest one, start off right here with Rose Mantique again, buff that out. Then we're gonna deepen things up with a smaller pencil brush right here with Plum Cabaret, and we'll be back after that. And for the larger pencil brush, we're gonna take our Redford number 26 here. And we're not really worried about how this color performs because we saw that on the top. I'm much more worried about just finishing off this look because I don't want fallout. We're gonna dust as much of that off as possible. Start on the outer end and connect that, honey. Baby, I'm looking like, oh, those lashes are popping. You see, look at that on camera. I'm not even wearing lower eyelash liner, baby, and they still giving it to us. So we're gonna just go in here, try to tuck that behind those lashes and get this color going. And I must admit, you all, as someone who usually, I love purple tones, but I love very bold, bright purples like violets and amethyst jewel tones. It is usually hard for me to want to go ahead, stick around, and wear a neutral type purple. And I'm doing this one more time because I went in extra careful on my brush. I wanted to make sure I didn't have too much product and risk that skipping and giving me a black eye. This time we can start from the front. But I'm telling you all, this color here is absolutely beautiful. I'm debating on if I even want to deepen things up because this color alone is just giving me life. On that second layer, like, I truly don't believe I need anything else to smoke this out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do this on the other side, and then we'll debate if we're gonna add that next color. All right, you all, we are back, and I have my Redford 03 brush. I don't even know why I'm playing, honey. I do want to go in and deepen things up. It gives me a chance to add more depth and dimension, as well as give you all a little more content. So we're gonna take this, dust that off, start on the outer half, and deepen things up, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Keep that color closer to the lash line. Now this color we're not gonna do a second layer of, because I believe that first layer is giving me everything I asked for. Oh, yes, ma'am. All right, you guys, I am just confused. I don't know exactly what to do from this point on. I just know I need to highlight my inner corner and my brows. And because I like the brightest beam to be on the inner corner, we're just gonna go ahead and use this lash shade here. This is Skin Tints Glow. That is the brightest shade in the palette, just for the metallics. For the Astral shades, we're gonna come up to this one here. This is Astral Gold Lust, and we're gonna use this to highlight our brow bone. Alrighty, you guys, when I tell you Skin Tints Glow picked up extremely easy on my brush, we're gonna take this here and we're gonna just pack that on the inner corner. This should easily come off as shiny and bright because it's much lighter than the first shade. So let's go ahead and just press her right there. Yeah, you all see that, honey. And I can tell with a shade that bright, honey, it is very rare that I'm ever gonna use that on my lid. I usually like colors that are a little darker. I'm a jewel toned lover, and a shade this bright, baby, let me go in and add just a little more on this side, cause honey, she is popping, and there is no way I would feel comfortable with that all across my hooded lids. I'm glad I did choose that for here instead of the brow bone. Yes, ma'am. Just gonna take and wipe that color off my brush on the back of my hand. Did not bring a towel in here to clean up, so we just gonna have to deal. Now I want to grab that Astral Gold shade and I want to do just one tiny swipe in. I dipped my brush just one time into that Astral Gold Lust. This is a soft press shade, honey, and I think I may have a way too much product on my hands. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and put the tiniest bit underneath the brows, and if there's still product on our brush, we're gonna go ahead and have to put that on the lid because I think that's too much and that's my fault. But we're gonna go ahead and see what she looked like when we go. Oop. Nope, nope, nope. Baby, she was never meant to be a brow bone shade. The sparkle in that is giving us too much. So what we're gonna do is come in and top off our inner half right here, baby. Let me see. Let me see if I can come closer for y'all and see if y'all can see what this shade look like. Wait. You see how sparkly that shade is? I'm not sure if that's showing on camera, so let me go ahead and turn and show y'all this side compared to this side without it. Baby, it's a little more left on there, so we're gonna go ahead, pick up some off this side and put that on this one. And now we're gonna flip our brush over and try to buff that out. Ooh, sis. Ooh, wee. That is gonna be an attention grab. Watch this. Do you see the way that brow bone catches the light? That don't even make no sense. Mother McGrath ought to be ashamed of herself. Oh my. I usually don't even show y'all buffing out the other side, but I had to because I'm sitting back looking like, there ain't no filter under that. Bob. I'm done. I'm done. I gotta grab my sprays, honey. We gotta go ahead, lock this in. You already know I'm about to grab my sprays, so make sure you get yours. And you guys know the routine. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All-nighter, so things will last all day. Cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Gonna give this a few more moments to dry and I'll be back to show you all the final look. And here's the final look. I want to go ahead, give you all a full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And I'm here to tell you all, this palette is fabulous. There's no other way to put it. This palette is fabulous, honey. Fabulous. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. First of all, the Blitz Astral shades, the one everybody was talking about. These 4 on the end are a brand new formula. Pat McGrath is known for her packaging as well as her formula. Many of us who collect the Mothership palettes collected for these 4 shades on the end. So to tell us, not only has the price gone up, but you've changed the formula of the one we want the most, you've switched it up? Who gave you permission to do that, honey? You didn't consult with us first. But I'm here to tell you, Mother did not disappoint with these. They are beautiful, they are beautiful, they are beautiful. The one thing I can say is, if for any reason you want to put them on the lid, go in very slowly, very carefully. They are very soft and they will pick up a bunch of product. So if you're used to swiping 2 or 3 times on a normal shadow, go once, maybe twice on these because you do not want to pick up too much product and have a hard time buffing and blending it out. On the lid itself, it's beautiful. It's going to catch the light and everything. Underneath the brow where you have nothing else there to help protect and buff it out, you have to be a little more careful because as you can see, that's a noticeable brow bone highlight. There's no way I can get away with saying I don't have anything there because that shade is so bright, and you have to think about it. This was the yellow tone one for my skin. If you have a more cool tone, you could probably go for this pink one here. If you're really, really fair or you want something extremely dramatic, you have this white one here. But for that pop of color, you have this dual chrome one here, which is the one I have here. She's beautiful. I believe, me personally, those shades are going to shine in one of two ways. Either by themselves all across the lids, and they're going to be like those really beautiful sparkly shades from the Patrick Top palettes, where they're not glittery, they're just shimmery. They have sort of a base that allows color to seep through, but it blends and merges in with your complexion, so it's absolutely stunning. But just as a brow bone highlight, I would try to avoid those if you can. The thing is, we get back over here. The mattes blend beautifully. They blend, they build. You can see a color difference between all three shades. But with that being said, I still wish we would have had a different variety of these three. Me personally, you all saw, started here, and I did not expect that shade there, Rosewood, what is that? Rosewood Romantique. I did not really expect her to be as deep and dark as she was. So to me, the fact that you can go in and buff her out to make her lighter or layer her to make her deeper, I really don't think you needed either this shade here or that shade there as well. I personally think if you were going to deepen things up and you gave us this brown here, they should have switched this shade out here, Plum Cabaret, for a very light taupe transition shade. The fact that this is, to me, neutral to cool tone, you're going to have those people who are going to want to wear their palettes on an everyday basic, just going to the office, going to school, pick up my children and things like that. They may not want this plummy, reddish tone, mauve blend out on it because they may not feel comfortable with such looks. To me, once I just look at my transition shade, it instantly reminds me back of the day of wearing the Manny MUA palette with Makeup Geek. They had a blue brown that you would put on the lid, that reddish shade that you would blend out, and it takes me back to those days. But I sit back and I think about it, like when I look at the fact that this metallic is neutral, this is neutral, this is neutral, some people may just want a basic neutral brown matte to go with that on those days where they just want a soft look, and then they could have used this one here as a pop of color. So if I could switch anything up for me personally, I would have just taken this shade out and made it a neutral, very light transition taupe shade. Nothing wrong with it. And other than that, I would have kept this palette just like that. So if you were to ask me, Torrence, do you recommend this palette? Absolutely. The formula is beautiful. The color story is beautiful. The packaging. The only thing is just for my personal taste, I believe more people would find more versatility out of it if it would have had that lighter shade. But in my collection, I have a matte transition shade. So I have it. It's just when you think of the fact of paying $129, you usually want everything you can get out of a palette. As someone like me, I think, how many shades are we rocking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shades, 7 of the 10. As you see, I'm somebody who likes to layer. I like to go in, so it's usually rare that a palette that only has 9 or 10 shades is going to give me everything I want. So I understand I'm very difficult to please, but I still say, if you were looking at Mothership palettes and you wanted something neutral or cool, I think this is the one for you, honey. The build is beautiful, the blend is beautiful, the color story is beautiful, and you get this new formula. And it has me wondering in the future, is she going to stick with this new formula, or is she going to give us more shades of the older one? Because I'm still a beloved lover of that, I'm still a beloved collector and lover of the old formula, so I don't want her to get rid of that one. But I'm here to let you all know, I am loving the colors in this one. So if you all truly did enjoy this video, I want you to make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel because we are getting closer and closer to that 1,000 mark. Leave me a comment down below if you all picked up this palette. I was someone who had to wait until it came to Sephora because my coins was not doing what I need them to do, honey. There was no way I could get this from Pat McGrath. But when I realized I could trade in my points for a $100 gift card, get this here. truly worth it, which is how I knew. At $30, I was keeping it regardless. This box is about to head to the trash, but I can honestly say, for Pat McGrath lovers, if you want to try the brand, I do not see you being disappointed by the formula of the color story of this palette. I think next time we go in, the only shades we have to test out, the 3 we did not use, would be this shade here, which is Platinum Dusk. I'm going to be trying that out all across the lid because I love neutral cool tone shades. And for the Blitz Astrals, I did not try out these bottom 2 because they were the lightest 2. And I'm like, yeah, this look is already over the top. But, yeah, Pat McGrath's new formula, I'm loving her. Her blushes, I can't wait to get back into those because, baby, I want some of these singles now. And I know she got those split pans on sale. I'm about to be sending people those, like, yeah, birthday coming up, honey. If you wanted to grab me a little, that split pan would have did it. But I'm sitting around looking like, okay, makeup done, video done. Guess what time it is now? Unfortunately, you all, time to wash these brushes, y'all. I do not feel like doing it, honey. I am tired. My makeup is beat. I want to step out and be cute, but I got to disinfect my makeup and clean my brushes at the end of the night before we step out. So with nothing else, I hope you all truly did enjoy this video. I know I said that before, but I've really been enjoying the love and support because lately it seems like my videos have been going up and up and up. I've been getting more views and I'm loving it, honey. I'm going to keep trying to make sure I keep things coming to you all on time. So we got to make sure we edit this video in time. So let me shut up talking, get this over with. So with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye, YouTube.